Hey there and welcome to Tour Confidential, presented by FootJoy, the #1 shoe in golf. I'm Ryan Estelta, happy to be joined this week by Sports Illustrated senior writer Michael Bamberger and Golf Magazine's Connell Barrett. And guys, all the talk this past weekend was at the Farmers Insurance Open, the return of Tiger Woods, which turned out to be a short-lived return to the PGA Tour. Michael, let's get your take, what you saw from Tiger, the missed cut after a 76 and then a 72 on Friday. What's your takeaway from Tiger's return to his first full field event in 17 months?
Well, now it's really the last two events. He's near the bottom of the field. But I think with TrackMan and all that's available to him, I think he'll figure out his mistakes pretty quickly. This guy is not ever going to become a 76 shooter. Whether he becomes a 66 shooter or a 68 shooter, again, remains to be seen. But we're not going to see Tiger miss cut after cut after cut. He's too good, and there's too much information available to him. So he's going to get a lot better before he gets worse.
Connell, what do you think? His remarks after his miscut was that he was disappointed he didn't have a chance to win the tournament. Tiger obviously still thinks he can win these tournaments on tour. From what you saw, can he still be that golfer?
I think he still has the V8 under the hood. On Friday, he decided to let one loose on the last tee and was just a couple yards behind DJ, about 320, 325. That bodes well because Tiger is playing apparently pain-free, which he hasn't been the last 16 months leading up to this last weekend. And he still has the raw talent, of course. He's still Tiger Woods. He's older. Maybe he doesn't have the fastball that he used to have, but he still has the physical ability and the desire. It's just a question of whether or not he can get back to the caliber of golf you have to play on the PGA Tour as opposed to a wide open course in the Bahamas. You know, he made 24 birdies at his silly season event in December. Torrey Pines is a tougher golf course, and that's why we only saw him make 5 birdies and really pay a penalty for his errant drives. And that's still his Achilles heel right now, his driver.
Michael, I want to ask you about what you saw just from his demeanor. A lot of the guys on tour have talked the last few months about him being a different Tiger Woods, very approachable, kind of hanging out with the guys. We saw it with Dustin Johnson and Jason Day. They're all kind of having a good time. All 3 guys went home for the weekend. This new demeanor of Tiger, is it good for Tiger Woods, or does he have to try to get back to the stone cold killer that we saw for 20 years?
Well, it's probably not good for his golf, but it's probably good for his humanity and every other aspect of his life. I don't think we're ever going to see that side of Tiger again. I think it's run its course. I would say maybe he has the desire. We don't really know. If he misses 6 cuts, or he's sort of in the middle of the pack or below, he could lose interest in this whole thing pretty quickly. He's probably the greatest golfer of all time. As he said a year ago, anything from this point on is gravy. So he can talk all he wants. He's not a big talker anyhow. But really, golf is all about results. If the results aren't there, a half year into this year after playing regularly, we may see even more of the chit-chat golfer and less of the Tiger that we remember.
Connolly goes to Dubai this week. Quick turnaround. How does he hold up, especially the body? He hasn't done this, flying around the world back-to-back weeks and playing in tour events like this.
He hasn't, but I think that's a good sign for his motivation. He's announced that he wants to play a full Tiger Woods schedule in 2017. And I think, Michael, to your point, he doesn't have 5 or 10 years of grinding away. I don't sense that Tiger thinks he'll ever get back to who he was in the early 2000s. But he's got some momentum right now in the sense that he wants to play. And most importantly, this should not be overlooked, he seems to be pain-free. He didn't leave Torrey Pines doubled over in a cart yesterday. He left with a smile on his face, hitting the ball poorly but hard. He still has that ability, and I think that yes, the next 6 months will reveal a lot about where Tiger Woods' game is going. And as long as he keeps making small improvements, starting with making a cut on tour, which would be progress, then I think that will continue to feed his motivation and give him the fuel to need to keep playing for the next few years.
He'll quickly have to make those adjustments this week in Dubai. Polar opposite of Tiger Woods, 41-year-old Tiger misses the cut. 22-year-old Jon Rahm wins the Farmers Insurance Open. And Connell, we look at this trend developing on tour now. The last 5 weeks, the average age of the tour winner has been 25 years old, with guys like Jon Rahm, Justin Thomas, Mackenzie Hughes, and Hudson Swafford. How good is this for the tour? Yes, they want Tiger to be relevant, competitive, but to see the future right in front of us has got to be a positive, right?
I think we have 3 great stories right now. We've got all these young guns who are ready to win right now. Jordan Spieth went out and won the Masters at 21. Justin Thomas is 22, and he's a 4-time winner and the new Mr. 59. You've also got the 30-ish guys, the players like Adam Scott, Day, and DJs in that range who are in the prime of their prime, and the oldies but goodies who we love to watch, Tiger and Phil. Those are 3 great narratives for golf fans to get into right now and dig their teeth into. And who doesn't like watching a 21-year-old fearless kid shoot a back 930 at Torrey, charging? That was fantastic.
Interesting, Michael. It used to take guys a little bit of time to adjust to life on tour. Jon Rahm came out of Arizona State. He had been the #1 ranked amateur for 60 weeks, I think he had at one point. But he comes on tour last year, 10 events. He has 3 top 10s, a second place finish, and all of a sudden, boom, he gets a win quickly in 2017. If you're a tour executive looking at the state of the tour here, Tiger fluctuating on, almost becoming a ceremonial golfer if he doesn't get it together, and you got these young guys on tour. What do you want to see the most? Tiger more competitive, or these young guys continue to storm the tour?
If young guys come on and come and go, I think that's very, very difficult to sell because we don't have any real way to attach ourselves to the players, and the players themselves don't have enough life experience for us to really relate to them. If they're just golfing machines and where do we emotionally attach ourselves to their story where we get caught up in their successes? That's difficult to sell.
Yeah, well, certainly not difficult to sell just good, solid golf. The 30, the 29 and 9 holes has become a regular thing on tour, and maybe we'll see more as the tour shifts to the Waste Management Open. Rahm will be in the field there. Jordan Spieth also in the field. Michael, Connell, thank you guys so much for being with us, and that's going to do it for this edition of Tour Confidential, presented by FootJoy, the #1 shoe in golf. We'll see you next week.